first episode of the Rip Comics podcast. It's July 26, 2020. This is episode 1. And we also have a special guest host here, or special guest, or a special. This could be the cameo appearance of Will Diaz from Toy and Comic Junkie Facebook group and Instagram group. And we are here launching off the first of hopefully something. A slew? Yeah, a slew, or an event, or whatever you want to call it.
I like slew. I like a slew of shows.
The slew of shows.
Yes. Can I have some coleslaw, please?
Coleslaw. They sell that at Long John Silver's.
Yes.
With some hush puppies and those crispy things.
And chowder.
Yeah, I mean that's have you ever those crispy those?
Oh, I love them.
Yeah, those are.
Are they in the shape of a fish?
You know what? I don't even know what they are in the shape of, but I know that it's one of those kind of things that.
You all right?
Nope.
What happened? I'll take over the show now.
User malfunction by me. No, I'm actually trying to share it to the group right now. And
you are? Okay.
Yeah. Well, because I got it on the ripped. Yeah, I'm gonna just put it right here, just as long as I put a title on it. So episode
straight
1.
From Hurricane Central.
Actually, yeah. Speaking of that, before we get into the actual show, did you guys sustain any damage or around in the neighborhood? Because I know that you guys have lots of trees that could pose, all kinds of hazards,
mayhem,
and stuff like that. Yeah.
No, not at all. We were fine. We're totally fine. My kids were actually very bored. They were actually hoping for mayhem and destruction, and
really?
they thought the hurricane was very weak, and it had no oomph. There was no oomph in the hurricane, and they were very upset. I mean, these kids been in quarantine and locked down in the house for going on 3.5 months already.
So you think they were prepared already? They were.
Oh gosh, they had go bags. They've been watching The Walking Dead over and over again, ready for everything. Yeah.
So that's actually an interesting dynamic right there. When you end up, something like that ends up taking place.
I said go bag, and they said, "Go bag, Dad," and they knew what I was talking about. That's how prepared they are, and I've never discussed any. They're not preppers.
Right.
I never discussed anything like that.
So I guess it was so family wise, everything was okay.
Yeah.
On our end, they kept wondering if we were going to go to Del Rio, because last time we went to Del Rio and we were with your family and stuff. Yeah. So they were kind of anticipating that we were going to do that, but it was kind of hard to get them to understand that actually the storm was a little bit, not that anybody should take any storm for granted. Yeah, but we kind of felt a little bit that we'd be okay, and then just as we had said that, the storm hadn't really hit the coast, and then half our power went out of the house, knocked out our AC, the front portion of our house, wall sockets, and it was kind of weird. We didn't have anything going on power wise, and then we started noticing that there was a fan going on in the back room, and so part of the house actually still had wall sockets. The internet never went out. We had our lights, we had ceiling fans going, so it was kind of a weird thing. We had that was the first time that we ever experienced something like that, and it's still kind of an issue, but we're able to kind of go on a little bit through battery power and stuff like that. So this is actually a delayed episode. We had been trying to launch this episode for a while, but because of technical issues and the hurricane and stuff like that, we've kind of managed a way to kind of scrape together this particular issue.
Yeah, we've been planning this since Venom 24, right? I mean,
yeah. I think we solved our connection issue. We were having such erratic service. I don't know. Were you guys having any service issues in your neck of the woods?
No, we were fine. We had everything going. We had
you guys,
we had internet.
Some people really, I'm not, like I said, I don't want anybody to think that, taking storms for granted and stuff like that. But, things, you know, they all happen different to everybody. And, you know, everybody experienced something different. I mean, if you go online, you definitely see a lot of the issues that some people faced and stuff like that. So it definitely was, you know, it did hit some people really hard. And your family was okay?
Yeah, we're fine. Everybody was good.
Okay.
It just, for us, the storm was like, it felt like any other big storm that would pass our way. It really did. Um, really nothing extreme for us. It was, you know, I was surprised. I thought we were gonna get um, a bigger hit.
A bigger hit.
Yeah, I thought so, but we were prepared. I mean, we prepared 2 days in advance. We had our vehicles full of gas. I mean, you may
You
think I'm
guys were
taking it.
ready.
You may think I'm taking it lightly because I'm joking about it, but we were ready to go at any moment. Like if we decided to, we could. We were gone. We had places to go. Um, we were ready. We were ready the day before the hurricane hit the coast. So, but I after watching the news, well, I don't really watch the news. Watching the pundits on
Hmm.
YouTube, and I pick. I'm very picky about who I listen to for information, but I found a person that's really good, and his name is Levi Cohen, and I use him religiously for hurricane information because he's spot on, and he does such a great job of explaining how hurricanes are steered and formed, and he pretty much will tell you where they'll go. So I listen to him, and he does a podcast. He does a show each night of a major hurricane from the onset of it starting till it hits the coast. And he has a site called Tropical Tidbits. So I advise anybody who lives on the coast to check him out. He has, you know, what was interesting. Um, I was on YouTube and I found a kid who's about 10 years old, 11 years old, and it's like he is Levi Cohen, Tropical Tidbits apprentice. He's like doing a show just like Levi Cohen is. And I actually listened to him for information because he was pretty much using the same tools and regurgitating the same things that Levi was saying. And I was really, to me, I was like, wow, this is really cool. This kid's going to be better than Levi when he grows up because
Yeah.
he's doing that at such a young age. So, so
But
he
I
has his
guess
fans.
so. I mean, but he did he do it with his own slant? Is that what he was
He
doing?
didn't have a slant. He was very raw.
Oh, okay.
He was very raw and rough around the edges, which he should be at that age. He's a beginner, but the fact that he's doing it on his own is what intrigued me, and I actually stayed listening to him for a while. But he's going to be probably one of those up and comings in about give 4 or 5 years. He'll be there. He'll be at that level because he's young and absorbs, and they're hungry at that age. You know,
Very
so
cool. No, I mean,
yeah.
you let me hear part of that podcast, and I want to say that he had it right on the money. He said that more than likely, as it was getting close to the coast, we were definitely going to be in a Cat 1. I mean, it almost hit Cat 2.
Too.
So
Yeah.
that was he was pretty spot on.
Were you worried about your comic books?
No, I think they were pretty secure. Now, if it was a bigger storm, I would be definitely worried about that. The way
Because
that
our houses are on Pier and Beam.
right,
Because
yeah,
we live on the coast and we live near the water. Like you live less than a mile away from the shoreline.
yeah,
Right, but our
right,
shoreline where we are situated is there's a seawall that keeps the water, like a small little dam that keeps it from
right.
going higher, and so we kind of live on a small little hill,
Yeah,
so
no,
to speak.
but I think the comics were good. I see that yours are out. You didn't really have to hide them or anything like that.
No, I was worried about them actually. I was like, what if water did get in here? But these houses are what, 50, 60 years old, and they've already been through so many hurricanes, so they put them in a position where they're not going to get flooded. So
Hey,
I have a lot of faith in that.
rotate it just ever so much because I see that you do have you did acquire that Secret
Oh,
Wars. Yeah, yeah, turn it a little bit. No,
the
no, no, no,
secret
the other
one?
way, the other way, the other way.
Oh, the other way.
Yeah,
I have my.
there you
Okay.
go, there you go. You have
Yeah.
your there's some pretty key issues there.
Yeah.
You just got that one not that long ago.
I got two of them actually. I have the other one on the other side.
Oh, that's
I
cool.
also I also have a raw peach Momoko,
There you
which
go.
I'm waiting for one from her signed.
Yeah.
It's
Let's go.
the
Let's go to the back one. That back one right there. The Secret Wars. There's big controversy as far as what the first appearance is, and a lot of people, like there were like about 3 or 4 different copies or issues that actually came out during this time. There's that one. Then there's Amazing Spider-Man 252, and then I think there might have been like another
there was a
preview.
Marvel there was a Marvel team up, I think.
It was yeah, it was something of that nature, and so that a lot of people, we have so many comic books that ends up, with that kind of controversy as far as first appearances, cameos, what book came first, chicken or the egg. It's one of those kind of things that go on and on and on in regards to stuff like that. So it's kind of
But you got to admit that this one is a really good looking cover, and yeah, I think there's speculation that they are going to make a Secret Wars movie. I've heard inklings about that.
right.
So I'd hold on to this for a little while to see where it goes if you're an investor. Uh, yeah, that's another question. Are you an investor or a collector or a little bit of both? And I'm a little bit of both. I don't read the books like I used to as a kid. I I like a small. I'm not even say small segment. I'm just like a segment of the community that are comic book lovers. We sometimes don't have time to read them, but we collect them because we love the character, the artwork, and the covers and the scarcity of the items. So, back in the day in the 90s, I was reading the books. I was reading, reading it like flipping it, taking care of the comic book, but at the same time, I was opening them up, reading them, cracking them open. But nowadays, I won't do that. I go online, I try to find the story if I can, and if I have enough time, I'll read it. If I don't, oh well. It's just a matter of time. You see
It's
what
a,
I?
you know what it is. It's a different way of you're not that you don't like comic books or reading them. It's just the way you take care of the book is a little bit different. Anytime you put your hands on the book, I mean, in the past, you can have like very very well read books, but in the world of flipping books or collecting books as a commodity and stuff like that, you end up you know you know you don't want to get your too many ink print. I remember that one. That's the one you said your dad gave you that one.
Well,
Or
yes, no. I mean, it was my dad's bag of comic books, and this is the one that I kept. I mean,
mhm.
there was a Ghost Rider in there, and I can't remember what issue it was, but I read that one and this one. But I held on. Believe it or not, this comic book was in the drawer for the longest time. It stayed in the drawer of the bathroom, and it was a bathroom read. That's funny, right?
No,
But
I mean, hey, that's
it's
that's cool. There's a story to it, but I'm pretty
yeah.
sure I've tried to get you to part with that book for a while. You don't want to part
I,
with that one.
no, I can't because it has some. It's
Lots of
the one. It's
sentiment.
my dad's book. It's
Yeah,
like,
no.
could you get rid of your dad's like '57 Chevy or something? I mean, that'd be kind of hard
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah,
But
I remember we were going to a barbecue and we stopped off at a convenience store like a Maverick Market or whatever it was at the time. And when we stopped there, you know what? It might have been even a Circle K. We stopped and they were buying some supplies that we needed for the barbecue. We were going to go off to like Lake Mathis or something like that. Yeah, everything was good. We had a lot of family and stuff like that. And I remember looking at it, the rack, just like what you have back there, and there was a Spider-Man issue. And to this day, I don't know if it was Spectacular Spider-Man, an Amazing Spider-Man. I cannot figure out what book it was. The only thing I do know now, if anybody ever listens to this podcast, maybe you can help me find this book, but it did have the Green Goblin. It wasn't the Hobgoblin, it was the Green Goblin. And what ends up happening, the panels that I remember very specifically was Spider-Man versus the Green Goblin, and they're fighting. But the Green Goblin is flying slowly over the aisles. So you get that look, that aerial view, and he's kind of flying over. And I'm like, man, that is so creepy because he's got that, that hover flying thing. And that panel just stuck in my head. And I just kept looking at this comic book over and over. The barbecue was going on, and then it started to rain. So it basically started to rain on our barbecue. What I do remember is that we all piled into the various vehicles. The barbecue was still going on. They brought the whole, it was one of those barbecue grills that are like that with the top dome thing. And you kind of, okay, they put that whole thing in the car too. And everybody's in the car with this barbecue still going.
Oh my God.
So we're all probably killing ourselves while we're finding, shelter and all that. I think we ended up going to somebody's house or whatever. But the point of the matter is that I just remember that comic book, and
Right.
for the life of me, I've been chasing down, trying to figure out where this book is. I don't know.
You're gonna have to just go through like a library of all the issues and just scour,
any
like
anything with Green
digitally find
Goblin,
it.
anything,
Yeah.
and you know what? It could have even been a reprint, because you know what I mean. At that
But
time,
was it an Amazing Spider-Man?
see, that's what I mean, I'm wondering if it was like a, you know what? It had it had a 70s vibe to it, so it couldn't have been a 60s book. If you look at 70s Spider-Man, it has a very particular vibe to it. Green
Mhm.
Goblin, and then shortly after that, they killed him off. His son took over a little bit, and then eventually we got Hobgoblin. So there's only, there's some very iconic issues of Green Goblin and Norman and Harry. You know what I'm saying? And eventually, we end up. He's had resurrections, but I know, I can narrow it down somewhere in the mid to late 70s that this book came out.
That was a new issue
It
of
had
mine.
it. Well, that's for me. I
It was
thought it
on the
was.
news.
Yeah,
It was on the
it
newsstand.
was on the newsstand, and I remember
Okay.
grabbing it. If you asked me, well, what was on the cover?
You don't remember what year it was?
No, it had to
You
be,
don't,
like I said, mid to late 70s. That's when it
wow.
was. But I was
Okay.
young, so I'm assuming it was maybe more in the mid 70s. I kind of narrowed it down a little bit, but without actually seeing, what it was. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but you know what I mean. That's the beauty of comic books and the impact of a comic book. Um,
Well,
I
it
would,
makes an imprint, so to
yeah.
speak, on your brain. Like I remember reading the first several, like when Dark Hawk came out. I remember reading. I went home. I had just bought comics. I was probably in the ninth or 10th grade, and my parents were leaving in their white Oldsmobile. Um, what was it? But it was a four-door family sedan, and I sat in the back seat with them, reading Dark Hawk. And I remember that day vividly, reading it and
Isn't it
making sure.
weird how you connect the book with, just like myself, like, with your Dark Hawk. So you're in the back seat of
Mhm.
this car, and then
Reading it,
what
and
is
I'm
it?
finding out about Danny Ketch and how his amulet. Danny Ketch, or am I getting confused with someone else?
How old were you?
I was ninth grade, 10th grade.
Okay,
So I mean, I was a teen.
but still,
Uh,
it
it
was
did
you
have to be
were
1990 or 1989, somewhere in 1990, 91, somewhere in there. And I was in the back seat of this of my family sedan, my parents' car, and reading about the amulet and how it worked. And I remember thinking to myself that, wow, this is one of the most awesome books I've ever read, and I really enjoyed the story of this kid who was the son of a policeman who had been killed and had discovered this amulet in an amusement park, I want to say, if I remember correctly, and was starting to learn the powers of the amulet while being this superhero. And me thinking about the Greatest American Hero, I grew up watching. And it was similar. It made a parallel because the Greatest American Hero, he got this suit, he was able to fly, and then he'll learn like he had special abilities. And it kind of paralleled the Dark Hawk character with him learning his special abilities. And I've read Dark Hawk later on, and it is light years from where it first started, um, which was really interesting. But those things do make an impression on you. And
my
um,
my experience with comics growing up. I don't know when the first time we had a comic book, or I had a comic book. I can kind of. I've always had a love for Marvel, DC, mainly Batman, Superman, and stuff like that. But I remember always going to the rack and just seeing these amazing comic books. And I guarantee you, all these very expensive books, I had seen these on the rack. It's just, I don't know. My dad, wouldn't buy them. Now, when I do remember, if we were at the doctor or for some reason in the hospital, you got that Superman comic book, or they, that we're going to cheer you up kind of thing. And for some reason, it was Superman. I didn't get no Batman or Spider-Man, but I remember it being a Superman book. The other thing that the one way that I knew I could hook my dad into getting us books, or you're a kid. We go to the toy section or the magazines or the comic books or whatever, and you want to buy that book, but you can't convince your dad to buy that one book for 35 cents or 75 cents. But if you bought the 3-pack, you got 3 books in a bag, you get a better deal. And you're like, hey, Dad, look, you get a better deal if you buy the 3 comic books. I remember buying the 3-pack of the Star Wars movies.
Wow.
Those first 3 books, lo and behold, I wish I had it, because there's one of those books. I mean, it's worth a lot of money, because I think something about the price tag, or the way it was printed on that label. If you look into it, that first Star Wars book, I believe there was something about it. And I don't know. I can't even say if I did or didn't have it, but I just remember reading those books, and then seeing there's scenes in there. There's scenes in the actual book that are not part of the movie. So that was another cool thing about seeing adaptations, comic book adaptations. They usually include, because they got early scripts. So the complete book wasn't even, the movie wasn't even complete, but the book had all these extra scenes sometimes that you're like, wait a minute, this didn't even happen in the movie. And then you find out later they were scrapped or cut, or, for time they were taken out.
So you have the director's cut, essentially.
Pretty much comic book, because you're making these books way in advance, and then you want them to coincide with the release of of the projects and stuff like that. The other place that I was exposed to these type of comic books was the follow along records. You play the record or the tape, and bling, and you turn the page, and then it was almost like reprints of Werewolf by the Werewolf and Spider-Man, or Batman and Scarecrow, or I don't know.
See, I used to have those. I used to have.
It was Batman and the Gorilla or something. I remember that one. Batman and a Gorilla one.
See, I'd go to Kroger's and pick those up, and I would get like Empire Strikes Back. I had that. I had Star Wars, and it was the actual pictures from the movie with the small 45 that put on the record player. I with a 45, if I remember correctly. And we also pick up some Walt Disney stuff. I mean, I was young. I probably was about 10, 11 years old when I was picking those up.
My goal, just to let you know, before the episodes, as we're going along, the quest for that Green Goblin will take place, and I'm determined that this is going to be a reason to go searching for that Green Goblin, Spider-Man.
It'd be nice if you could have it. I mean,
and if I could find that frame, I will have that frame from that caption of that book, and I'm gonna show it to everybody. I mean, because it would be exhausting if we started going through the list and all that. Maybe we'll have a special Green Goblin episode or something like that. Just to remind everybody, this is the first episode of Rip Comics, and it's basically a passion. Everybody, at some time or another has run across a comic book, or was given a comic book, or have seen a comic book in school or whatever, and they have them probably stashed away in a box, or as part of some magazines, and you just never thought of it. But some of us went a little bit farther. We've some of us have managed to keep some of our older books, like Will has, and then some of us, because really my major collecting started like in 1989 when the Batman movie came out. That we were so into Batman that we started going into the Death in the Family, and then all the books, and then I started getting into Speed Racer. I found out there was a Speed Racer comic book. Next thing I know, I'm on the quest to get all these Speed Racer comic books, which I finally have them, but it took me several years to track down. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have the internet and all that kind of stuff. So it made it a little bit tougher. You used Toy Shop magazine back in the day. That's where everybody would list all kinds of material and stuff like that. So it was a little bit challenging. You waited for comic book conventions in your local area, or you ended up finding comic book dealers. Comic book dealers have in our area has changed quite a bit. I don't want to get too much into that because we could do a whole episode on that by itself. But before we get actually into what we have planned for the episode, is there something that you want to add in regards to quest for long time comics? And is there an issue that you have? Because I remember Darkhawk has a soft spot for you. You know, you like to collect that. But is there something that you've still wish that you could get your hands on that you might have had when you were younger or remember seeing or hearing about?
I think I like to get a new I'd like to get a pristine copy of GI Joe #1. I think that would be something I'd like to have. I have one, but it's tattered and ripped, and it's not the one. It's not the. I've never had a #1 from my youth. I've had the Tales of GI Joe,
Right.
which are the reproduction ones. But I'd like to have a nice copy of that. Also a 300. Believe it or not, I do not have a 300 Amazing Spider-Man, and a 252 Amazing Spider-Man. I had it in my hands. You and I traded, and then I got another one in my hands, and I sold it. And I just want to be able to have.
A
I'd like to
252.
have a 252. Graded, ungraded, doesn't matter.
But to me, the fact that you still have, I guess you could call it a placeholder with your GI Joe, but you want a cleaner version just to say, hey, I've got a cleaner version of GI Joe #1.
Yeah, because I was while you say you were collecting comics. I was more collecting before I started collecting comics. I was really collecting GI Joe. GI Joes were something that, like, if I went to the store, I wasn't going to the racks. I was going to the toy aisle and picking up the latest vehicle. That was my thing. Me and my brother, he was Cobra and I was GI Joe.
Yeah.
So I would get the Moray Eel for Christmas, and he would get the hovercraft. And our living room became a battlefield. We'd sit up on one side, I'd sit up on the other, and we would spend hours playing. So we were big GI Joe freaks, and I actually sold recently the GI Joes that my parents kept when I moved out. They were beat up, they were broken, and I let them go. I just kept a couple of figures that were in good shape. But I had a lot of first generation stuff. So GI Joe #1 issue, that'd be really cool. It's not like a grail. It's not like, oh, I gotta have it.
Right. It's just something. It becomes your way. You're not on the. I got Chris Ambrose here in the comments. He said Larry Hama's GI Joe Rock. I mean, that's the. I mean, I remember a friend of ours. He was such a GI Joe. I mean, we all love GI Joe, but my friend Ralph Solis, he's passed away a couple of years ago. But man, we went to his house and he had a stack, like all the GI Joes. I mean, he was like, "Here's #1, 2, 3." I was like, "Wow!" I was like freaking out. I mean, he had all of these comics of GI Joe. It was amazing to see. Chris Ambrose mentions the Sky Striker. I remember getting a Sky Striker. My brother actually got a Sky Striker as well. Christmas. Sad to say, I was kind of old to be getting that, but I really, really wanted that. I didn't care how old I was. I wanted.
I'd still get it right now. I wouldn't consider myself too old.
Well,
but the
one that I really liked though was the Rattler with Wild Weasel.
Yeah, that was really cool, man.
I like that one. That was a really cool.
Yeah, the Warthog. The USS Flag.
Oh,
that's the one I wanted. Never got it. I did get the Terrordome, and I did get the GI Joe base. I had those. My brother and I. But the USS Flag was something. It was quite expensive for the 80s. $100 and something, maybe $200. Nowadays they're going for over $1,000 at least in okay condition. But I don't think I'd go out right now out of my way for one of them.
No, that would cut massively into what the name of this show is called, Rip Comics. You'd rip into your comics for sure. Chris actually mentions something that he collected a lot of Image from the '90s, Wildcats, and stuff like that. What I want to do is I'll put a pin on that, and maybe we can have Chris come on in a future episode and talk about Image. I know my brother collected Savage Dragon and Wildcats and Gen 13 religiously, and I mean, before that, I mean, we were all into X-Men and stuff like that. But I would really like to maybe we can get a panel and we can talk about Image Comics a little bit later on.
When you talk about X-Men, the series that sticks out of my brain as being my childhood or teenage find was the Weapon X, the original Weapon X series
Mhm.
for Wolverine back in the 90s. That whole 10, 11 issue, I think it was 10 issue. I still have every single one of them from that time. That to me was like, that was the apex right there. That was it. Like, to me, that was like, I was in love with comics at that point. I read every one of those Weapon X issues, and I was just blown away by the story and the origin and Wolverine, and that is what really latched me on to comics. And then later on, I want to say, I could be wrong in the chronology, but the Image came out with Spawn, and it was this new thing. I knew who Todd McFarlane was because he had already done Spider-Man, and I loved the webs he would draw. So I followed him into Image, and I'm glad I did, because I picked up his first stuff when he came out. Not that it's extravagantly expensive, but it's nice to know that I have stuff from when it was on the newsstand.
Oh yeah,
With the
no,
bar,
no. To me, that's the thing. Something hooks you in first, and then the next thing, that's what it was. For me, before I got into like the '80s, late '80s, what we would do is we would walk to Wins. Remember Wins?
Yeah.
Okay, it was like a five and dime. You used to be able to find everything there. They had the triple comic in the bag, and I actually still have those. You remember we were talking about what do you have? Well, I still have some of those issues. I have some Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man that came out. I have some Batman issues, and I would actually go every couple of weeks, and sure enough, I was actually able to get a couple of the runs of those comics. I didn't know that they came out that way. I thought maybe it was just random, oh, here, I'm just going to throw a couple of issues or whatever. But I think I got like a couple of the Spider-Man and a couple of the that's when Hobgoblin came out, and I was catching actually some of those issues that way. And then same thing with Batman. I got a couple of Batman issues that way. When I started like really, one thing I enjoyed a lot, talking about comics, and like you said, you were reading certain runs of X-Men. I remember the love of all my brothers. I have two other brothers, and then they would get their own issues, and we would all collect certain things. Extinction Agenda. We would all like follow along the series, and then the part I enjoyed the most was talking and speculating what was going to happen in the next issue. Who was this? Who was that? Trying to guess, and then we would go to our local comic shop, and then we would talk comics, and then we're all waiting for the next issues. We're all reading various comic book runs, and we're all getting into the series. And I really enjoyed doing all that kind of stuff. To some extent, the internet does that. It's out there. I mean, you see these groups and stuff like that and talk about that, but a lot of people do more the flipping of comics and selling. I mean, there's tons of variant covers. We can actually do a whole episode later about variant covers, and how does that work for everybody. But I think that's a good introduction to a little taste of, I think, what we're doing, a little background on myself and Will, and just a little tidbit of some of the comics that interest us a little bit in our journey to where we are now. Will on one hand, he runs the Toy and Comic Junkie sites on Facebook and on Instagram, and a future website will be coming soon, and where he's going to go ahead and he'll be able to showcase, different comic books. He does a lot of comic book hunting, bin diving. I haven't, because of the pandemic, I haven't been able to do a lot of that, but that's another joy that I actually in recent have. It's the thrill of possibly finding a gem in the raw out there. And, occasionally, sometimes you'll run across, a couple of ticks in the spine or whatever, but it's really cool when you end up finding that one book in there, like, wow, how did this end up in here? And it ends up being a variant that, not that that's the most important thing, but you end up finding a variant that's like 20-50 bucks, or even, I think in some cases, I remember seeing somebody getting Avenging Spider-Man for $1, and it was like worth like 200 bucks or something like that. So, comic book hunters, they're always out there. They're always looking for a raw kind of a comic book out there in the rough somewhere. And
Right.
you just
The
never
biggest thing
know.
is this, man. It's okay. Like I buy comics and I sell comics. Um, it's hard because you come across something that is a little bit rare, not totally rare, but it has some rarity to it, or it's special, and either it has a first appearance, or there's a just something different about it that makes it unusual or scarce. And you're like, okay, do I sell it or do I keep it? And and that's where you got to decide. Okay, what am I going to be? Am I going to be a collector today, or am I going to be a seller today? Um, what is my role? And I think a lot of times when I go looking for stuff to buy, I have to be in that mindset, because if not, then I'm going to end up spending money that I'm planning to make more money with the money I have.
Right.
And if I end up keeping everything I buy, I'm going to be broke with a bunch of paper, essentially, that has
Right.
no even though I consider it a commodity. If this world that we live in would turn to crap all of a sudden, I couldn't walk over to the trading post and be able to trade this for some steak
Yeah.
or food or a horse or
Well,
something.
well, then
You know what I'm
that's what,
saying?
yeah. Well, then that's when it comes to, you got to know what you want to put into this, because, just to let our in case you're not, into comic books to this extent, some of these comic books can be worth several hundreds of dollars. I
I
mean,
got this
but it,
one in the back right here.
yep.
I picked this one up and I didn't spend $200. I mean, I see it right now selling, not an asking price, but a sold price of about 250 for this issue right here from John Tyler Christopher.
Hmm.
I picked it up from one of our members on Toy and Comic Junkie, or one of the fellow sites, and they said, "Hey, Emerald City Comic Con is selling these right now. Pandemic, da da da. Get it now." I went there and I had X amount on my card. I bought it. A month later, it shows up. So now I have, so to speak, some sort of equity in it. So I could sell it now for. I could sell it for below what they're selling it on eBay of 250. I can sell it for 100 bucks and still make a profit. Or I could keep it to see what's its long-term value. So yes, there are a lot of books out there that are worth quite a bit of money. Start the this book is catching is trending a little bit. Of course, the Netflix movie. What was it called?
Warrior Nun.
Nun, Warrior
Warrior
Nuns.
Nun.
Now this is the first issue. About
Yeah,
50,
Ben
45.
Dunn. I remember when Ben Dunn came out with those, and at first, it was, everybody was doing, we've always had these independent comics, and I think once uh, Image started making their imprint, you started to see even more of those independent comics finding space on the shelves of comic book shops and whatnot. Chris Ambrose makes a mention. Do you guys remember a newsstand in the 6 Point area in the 80s? He goes, I used to pick up a bunch of GI Joes and Robotech comics there.
This is in Corpus Christi
Yeah, he
for
says
the
in Six
Texas.
Points. I'm trying to remember which one that was. I do remember Global Newsstand. That was over there, kind of where you live.
Yeah, we're
Remember that
close
one?
to that
Yeah,
area.
right there near Elva's. It was in that little shopping center. Unless that was it, I'm not sure. But I remember
Could be.
Global Newsstand. Global
Yeah.
Newsstand had all kinds of newspapers, magazines, and stuff. But you always found that rack. you can't find those racks anymore like that.
No, I'm lucky I got
miss
this one.
I
This
miss
is
that.
not a vintage rack, and
Right.
I do miss that. Going to the Circle K, going to the Maverick Markets, going to those old convenience
Do you miss
stores.
that?
Yeah, I do.
I
I
miss
mean,
that.
it's not like oh my God, I miss, but yes, I do miss that display of books in a convenience store.
Yep.
Because the last time I saw that probably was in the late '90s, maybe middle '90s. That's when I last saw the newsstand in
Yeah.
the convenience store. I
Yeah.
miss that
When
because I
they
did.
when they disappeared, you had to go to like Barnes and Noble or B
Not
Dalton
even
or
Barnes
something.
and Noble. It started becoming a comic book thing where you had to go to the comic book shop to pick them up. You
Well,
couldn't go
I
any.
guess what I'm trying to say is the last of the newsstand copies,
Yeah, I guess you're right.
it kind of trickled in the Barnes and Nobles type of thing, and we started losing the B Daltons and the other bookstores because of like Barnes and Noble. Then you end up, it all becomes monopolized.
Right.
Then the end of the newsstand, which I thought was interesting because actually it was in our area that ended newsstand, but if you go into like some comic book databases, they actually said that there were some that were maybe in the 2000s that were still being issued in newsstand form. So,
Oh,
and
really?
that's all based on the UPC and all that kind of stuff. So it just depends on the distributor. If they're able to sell those comics on the shelf, such as like Chris Ambrose, like an HEB or a bookstore and stuff like that. But if you don't have the clientele that is buying that product there, why are they going to carry that product if it's not not going to be sold? So uh, then comes the comic book shops, and but you know you gotta remember how they're limited to space size too. They're budgeted on how many comics they want to do because if you want, you cannot physically stock every comic book that comes out. I mean, it's if anybody is ever interested in finding out, this coming up week the preview magazine comes out, and that is basically what a comic book distributor retailer, that's how they talk to each other. But uh, comic book buyers can actually get that book, make their selections of what they want that's going to come out in 2 months, and then you can also be on top of your books, and it's almost like setting up your subscription in the future and getting all
Right.
getting.
You could do that yourself, or you could call your local comic book store and tell them, hey, can you pre-order this? Can you pre-order this? Pre-order this. Pay for it in advance if you want, if they'll accept it, and you're going to get your book. You want probably 99.9% sure, confident that your book will arrive and there'll be no problem, and you will have it. And you don't have to worry about getting there early opening time to pick up that issue. And that's what I do. I have a good rapport, and I have a comic book store who's diligent enough to make those pre-orders and make sure that they're done. That's
Uh,
pretty cool.
that is yeah, we're getting into we're extending this, but you know what? Getting a good relationship with your local comic book shop, because if you can have a good relationship with them, they are going the extra distance for you in terms of putting their money and securing those issues for you, and getting that for you so you don't have to go rummaging around. Because I'm going to tell you this right now, in these past couple of weeks during the pandemic, it has been a little bit scary for some collectors because
Right.
their local comic shops weren't getting books and they missed on some stuff, and now they're having to go to eBay and Mercari, and not that there's anything wrong with these sites, but
Not at all.
you're at the mercy of what these guys want to put these books at. And sometimes these books, even though they're brand new, they come with a price. So
Shipping.
yeah, you want to have your ear to the ground, and if you don't want to miss the latest issues of your favorite comic
Let
book,
me just say this:
set up a
that
good time.
creating a rapport with anyone is essential to good business and to getting what you want or need uh, when you ask for it. Like the business I do with my local comic shop, I've been doing business with them every month. Been doing pre-orders with them. I pay on time. I pick up the books when they're there. I do everything that they need to process the business. Okay, and this is what it allows me to do. The I needed bags and boards. I needed them badly because I had a lot of comics, and I called them at pretty much right after closing time, and they opened the store for me, and they had the comics bagged in a bag, the boards and the bag and boards in a bag. As soon as I arrived, opened the door for me, went in, put my card out, boom, I was out. You're not going to get that if you don't have a rapport,
Right.
because they know that I'm going to go over there, and I'm not going to. I mean, I'm not dropping hundreds of dollars, but I'm a consistent customer, and they will do that for their good customers, the ones that show up and pay because they want good, they want their business. So yes, get to know the manager and the people on the floor, and have a good rapport with them, because you never know. They may keep a comic for you. You forget to make a pre-order, and they're like, you know what, we'll take care of you, because we know you're gonna come back. I think one real quick, Rob. Todd McFarlane pencils. Is this the one, Rob? Is this the one I was telling you about?
Well, you had mentioned something about that.
Is it number 63? Yeah, it is 63.
And you said what about that one?
Todd McFarlane credited for pencils on this one.
And
I did not know that
and
he did a G.I. Joe Todd McFarlane.
Well, I do know he did a G.I. Joe, and they eventually re-released it at the end. But there was another one with an orange cover that he actually did the pencils. I don't know if it's that one.
I thought it was this one. I could be. Oh, wait a minute. Is it this one?
It's the one with the orange cover. Yeah, there's an orange cover. Wait, yeah, that's the one. That's the one with
this is the one with his pencils.
Now,
okay.
He was scheduled to do one right after that, but what ended up happening, they scraped it all, and they scrapped it, and he was like, they didn't want to work with me on G.I. Joe anymore. Funny thing is that when G.I. Joe finished its initial run, guess who got his final issue reprinted? And that was the last issue. It's the one he did the cover. The cover looks like Spider-Man #1, and it's Snake Eyes done in that position and everything like that.
Really?
And all they did was reprint the same story that got rejected, but with his artwork. Now we're gonna post my stuff. It kind of goes. What showed last night was the sci-fi Todd McFarlane documentary.
Is that how you figured this out? That's where you found this nugget of information?
No. I've had that.
Oh, okay.
Already.
Because I didn't watch it.
No, I haven't watched it either. Remember, I didn't have any power. But the thing is, though, one of the taglines in there was that he was rejected like 200 to 300 rejection letters, and even when he was working in these companies, his artwork was too ahead of its time. He was like, the hands would go out of the boxes, and he was breaking the form. Yeah, the wall. He was doing his own thing, and it just wasn't a traditional way of doing things. And you got purists, you got guys that are like, hey, you know what, Kirby and Stan Lee and everybody says, we're going to put them in boxes and this, that, and the other. Well, he wanted to break out of those, and we can't contain all these characters. And I mean, he's known for some very crazy covers, and it's just a lot of cool stuff that he's been able to bring us.
Do you think he still has retained that edginess, or he's passed on that mantle?
Well, there's a lot of dynamic artists and comic book cover artists that I think they owe a lot of tribute to what he's been able to lay the groundwork. I think some of the most sought after covers are usually his black and white covers, and I think that in his own book, Spawn, that he's been able to give us these fresh new styles that eventually go off and they end up making their own books, and or welcome us to their art forms. Like Matina, we've been able to see some very dark and sinister covers that go perfect with the Spawn character. What's around the corner is going to be the Gunslinger Spawn, and if anybody's collecting Spawn or wants to catch a couple of really cool issues, I would say that would be the time to check out your local comic book store and see what you can get into, because I think those are going to they're going to fly off the shelves really quick, and you're going to see second, third printings pop out really quick. That character, Spawn's cool, but that particular character is really hot, in the Spawn world right now.
Right, and you introduced me to that character a while back, and I still haven't picked up any of the Gunslinger ones yet.
Yeah, they're actually a little bit. Well, see, the thing is, when you look at the whole scope of all the different things that you can collect, some people are like, well, I like that, but I'm going to stick with true, tested titles and stuff. Not that Spawn's not true and tested. It's very much a niche market. You're not just going to run across somebody that collects Batman and say, hey, you want to get a Spawn issue. You have to find the McFarlane or Spawn, Spawn collector, and that's who you're going to get. Unfortunately, I think even though he's like maybe like the number one guy when it comes to like how many comics he created and all this kind of stuff, I still think there's a niche about him that, there are people that will say, well, I'm going to get whatever X-Men comic book that comes out before they get a Spawn book.
I think people are buying, when they buy a Spawn book, they're buying Todd McFarlane. I think they're buying part of his personality in that book.
No, most so. I mean, I think when you see a documentary like this, oh no, yeah, he's very much a character.
That's what I think people are buying, really.
And I think sometimes when if you're not used to that, I think it rubs people like is there arrogance to this guy?
No,
But you know what I mean?
So.
I mean, though all those early Image guys, I think Liefeld has got new life again. A lot of his stuff, he seems to be, making a mark. He's still.
Yeah, but I think he plays the part. I was talking to Vel about it, and she was like, "Oh, so he's like a cult comic artist. He has like a unique following because of the way he's drawn and gets criticized for drawing, oversized figures with a bunch of pockets and fanny packs and all this stuff, and so he's been criticized, and plus he has an obnoxious attitude and when he responds to people, and I think it's more he's playing the part now, and that is keeping him relevant in the world, and I kind of like that, because you have to find something that you're good at, and if that's what he's good at, I mean, more power to him.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
So like he's a character. So is Todd, and I don't think Todd is a person who's boastful or arrogant. I think he truly loves what he does, and he loves his people, the fans. I've seen those videos out there where he's showing kids how to draw, and he puts out these giveaways, and I just think I think for a collector, he's done a great thing for us, giving us another outlet to go and find a new character and buy. I mean, you think about Image has put out so many different titles, dude. And sometimes I'm scared to venture out into those other books.
That's been one of the I've bought all kind of Image comic books through the years. There are some that I'll take a gamble on. There's some that, I'm like, what is this? And then sometimes I've missed something and I try to find a way back into it. And the next thing you know, it's like, wow, this is, all, going through the roof, and the print numbers are low and stuff like that. It is, I'm going to say this right now. I mean, Image Comics is very different than what it used to be when we first started. When Image, see, this is what we need to say for the Image edition of the show. But I'll make a brief statement about Image Comics. When it first started, it had that imprint of, we're going to be superheroes just as much as DC and Marvel, and we're going to be, our characters are better than theirs. Look at what Image Comics is now. How many are actual like superheroes? Do you know what I mean? What we got? Spawn. Who else is?
And Leguizamo.
Yeah. But there you go. I mean, it's like it's become this imprint where artists and writers can get as creative as they want to be. You can tell somewhat of a supernatural, a mystical story, an adventure story, something, whatever they want to do. I mean, you can really find whatever you want. Sometimes it could be very risque, in like some of the comics that, that we've seen run across through Image, but at the same time, I think that they're pushing the envelope as far as literary works along with beautiful artwork that goes inside. The Eisner Awards, we can actually focus on that a little bit later because we don't have anything prepped for that. But the Eisner Awards, I want to say at least 3 of the top awards were actually given to Image Books.
Well,
And
Skybound has like so many Eisner Awards on it
oh yeah,
for their writers and artists as
yeah.
well.
On that note, I want to thank you for showing that. We'll get some comics prepared next time, and again, and see what other stuff. But as the way comic books go, every week there's something new that ends up coming out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. I don't know if you want to look at it on my screen or you want to share it.
Go ahead and share it. I'll watch it.
Okay, and then hopefully you'll be able to see it. But where is it? Here it is. There we go. I want to show a little bit of rundown. This is the comics that are coming out for August 29th. They're coming out this Wednesday, and I don't know if there's anything. Let's take a quick look. Let's see what could be there. See, the thing is, the beauty of these websites is they basically will show you all the different comic book companies and all the stuff that they have coming out. I'm going to kind of skip through some of these. Not that there's anything wrong with these other comic books. It's just that we're going to kind of focus on maybe some of the books that we know are all kind of on our radars and stuff like that. Is there anything on Avatar Press? I mean, I don't really see. I mean, Archie books are always, they have their own crowd. Boom Studios, is that one? Let's see.
The Bill and Ted, but I'm not an omnibus collector,
Yeah.
so I wouldn't do that.
They got Firefly, and then
I love Firefly the movie.
Right. So we got these Mighty Morphin Power Ranger foil wraparounds, and all these A, B, C. They're going to have 4 covers come out. 2, I guess, are the comic book company or the distributor. They're going to make some kind of deal with the comic book company so that or the store. And that maybe that's how you can acquire these 2. So those might be a little bit more expensive. But let's see if they have a picture. I don't know if they have the picture of what the foil cover. Okay, that's what the foil cover is going to be. So foil Montez variant.
It's quite. This is something I've seen this foil cover, this style layout before, and it's quite popular. I probably personally am not going to go into that because I'm going to put my money somewhere else. But I mean, for those that collect Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, yeah, I wouldn't miss it.
Oh no, it's always seems to be a really good seller. A lot of the collectors and tracking down those books. I want to say a couple of weeks ago they had a lot of amazing covers. I was so tempted to maybe pick something up here. Here is DC. DC has all kinds of stuff coming out. Their actual free comic book day book will be coming out. Batman Overdrive, Batman Tales, Once Upon a Crime. That's going to be available at your comic book retailer as part of free comic book day. You want to explain how free comic book day is working actually this time compared to usually it's like one day or
it's one day. But it now happening for us. It's happening every Wednesday. We're picking up books from our local comic shop, and it's interesting how it's done. Well, I mean, it's done the same way. You go to the counter and you get your selection. They have 4 or 5 books available, and you pick. For us, they're letting us pick 3 or 5 for where I'm going. But
right.
I've heard stories from other comic stores where they're giving you every single one of them. But I'll just send Velma back in and get the others.
Is there anything in the DC lineup that you see coming out this
No,
week?
I'm not a real DC collector. I'll be honest with you. But if it has like a Frison cover, what's her name? Jenny Frison.
Mm-hmm.
I really like her style. I'll collect it. But I'm not a big. If it has a Harley Quinn cover, I might pick it up. Again. I probably represent a segment of the comic book community who buys comic based on the cover art, and that is nice.
That's a Jim Lee variant, Wonder Woman 759. I don't know what the price is going to be of that one, but that one looks like a really cool comic. If you're a Jim Lee fan, you're a Wonder Woman, anything in black and white, that almost like sketch type or whatever you want to call it, that to me seems. I just don't know what that's going to be priced at. That's the variant. That's the cover B available of the Spider. I mean the Wonder Woman comic that's coming out this week for DC.
You
Other
know
than
what?
that,
That Constantine.
you've been hearing stuff about
Hellblade.
that one. They got a
For some
series
reason,
happening. People picking
yeah.
up that.
For some reason, I put my chips over there for Constantine
Well, still available for
pre-order.
pre-order on this particular website.
Right.
I'm not trying to promote any particular website or anything, but I mean, it just ends up clicking over every time that we end up going into that. Diamond, see, we got the previews magazine that is coming out this week. So that means on our apps, if you got the previews app, you're going to be able to see what's new coming out in 2 months. And that's going to be the October Halloween issues for Marvel, DC, and Image. You'll be able to see those. And if you get the whole previews magazine, you'll be able to see all the companies and all that. That's going to be coming out. What I'm noticing here, Boys Number One, oops, it went a little bit too far. The Free Comic Book Day edition of the 2020 edition of Boys Number One. That's a hot show right there on Prime. That one should be coming out. Someone needs to simmer down. No, I'm just kidding. And of course. So we got Free Comic Book Day, another book that's coming out. Looking down here. Tons of Red Sonja, Vampirella meetups.
Dude, those are really cool looking covers.
Yeah, we got tons and tons and tons of covers. It says 12 of 12. So I guess this is actual number 12 of 12. So that run is coming down. But it's 12 of 12, but then there's like what? 12, I don't know. Number 12 has 12 covers. So there you go. All different kind of artists involved and all that. I don't want to click on any of them because some of them are kind of crazy. And just like the Vampirella Red Sonja series, Jay Lee's an incredible artist, and I think he's been the lead on that project, and a lot of cool stuff. So your comic book stores usually carry those. If they don't, ask for them, and they'll put them aside for a comic book box for you. Fantagraphics always has some cool books. Usually you probably want to special order those. Most comic book stores, I mean, those are kind of expensive to carry unless you are picking those up, pre-order or something like that. It's kind of hard for a comic book store to carry those. I guess they got the little golden books there listed. Let's go down a little bit more.
IDW.
Yeah, IDW. That's
Turtles.
Yep, that's been the hot one right there. It's issue 107. I'm going to go ahead and let's take a look at cover A, and we're going to go through there's 3 covers that are coming out. This would be cover A. Got the turtles all getting tangled up in some kind of some goo. Something's all classic turtles doing their thing. That's cover A. Are you picking up Turtles, or are you picking up selected books? Or this is the Kevin Eastman. This is actually one of the original creators of Turtles, and his cover is not available yet. I'm pretty sure we could probably find his cover online somewhere.
Eastman. No, it's not his fault.
And then there's also cover C, which it's a more of an incentive book. Usually they kind of save these a little bit. There it is. It's way at the top. Let's see if we can see what. Oh, look at that one, dude.
Yeah, that's a cool looking cover.
That's gonna be that's the incentive book. You know what? Maybe that other book. Well, I was gonna say maybe it was on that too. Let me see real quick.
Put Deja Thoris on.
Let's see. Maybe it's down here. Oh, that's it. Is this the Eastman book? This one?
That's on eBay.
Right. But I'm just saying, I mean, see how that's the cover of the other one? I guess that's the Eastman book. There it is. Eastman cover.
Cover B.
There it is. What is it? Baby Yoda? Well, maybe that's it. There you go. We're showing it here.
Is that a laser tag helmet he's wearing?
Yeah, there you go.
I had that helmet.
There you go.
We were geeks when we were kids, running around the neighborhood with laser tag helmets.
Jeez. But that's a hot book that's going around right now. A lot of
Yosagi Yojimbo.
Yeah. Classics. They're reprinting his stuff. There you go. And we got Image right here.
There's your Spawn. There's your Die.
Yep. These are the ones that are.
Mercy.
I don't know if they have the cover for this one yet.
Texas Blood. Let's see that Texas Blood #2.
That's been another. Oh yeah, this is the one they've been advertising for a while. This tan cover, I believe, or I don't know which one it was. Who did this cover? Who did that? One?
Texas Blood #2 by any one of them. Let's see what they.
I'm gonna go to the cover. This is cover B. This has actually been a pretty hot comic.
A Brother's Conscience Part 1. The first 5-part story arc begins here. Los Angeles-based writer Randy Ambrose County, Texas.
So
that's the plot. That's the plot line right there.
So basically, #1 was pretty much a standalone introduction to the book itself, kind of like a pilot, and then the actual 5-part story begins on issue 2.
You know what? I'm picking up that book. I'm gonna start picking up that run. I
remember. You know what? I went to a shop and they actually had issue #1, and they only had 1 issue available.
You know what, dude? I'm gonna start collecting that one. Which is this one? That's the
cover A.
That's the cover A.
Yep. Looks pretty cool book, dude. Look at that.
Yeah.
Welcome
to Ambrose County.
I heard a lot of good things about it. A lot of people that ended up picking it up ended up liking that. Let me look real quick here, going down the list, see if there was something. You know what? I've been hearing a lot of this one and the one Hedra. I don't know if you heard anything about it. It seems like it might be kind of interesting.
Ooh, I like that.
Yep. In a glorious exploration of comics medium with echoes of 2001: Space Odyssey, Flash Gordon, Chris Ware, and Mobius. A lone astronaut leaves the world ravaged by nuclear war in search of life. I like that.
I like that cover first. That's some real nice art right there. I like it. Pretty
sweet. Let me see.
I do got to expand out of my horizon and start looking at these other titles.
It's a one-shot book, bro.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. That's easy. I could do that.
Yeah. No long-term commitments there. And then, of course, Lost Soldiers. Vietnam, 1969. Juarez. 40 years later, 3 men tied by war they left behind on a collision course with a new one. Hey, it almost sounds like that show, that Spike Lee movie on Netflix right now.
Haven't seen it.
Yeah. Well, this is up my dad's alley. Very Frank Miller looking art on that one, don't you think? The brows.
I don't know.
I like. You know what? I like war comics. I like Sergeant Rock. I like all that kind of stuff.
I got a couple I could sell you, Rob.
You know what? We need to do a war comics episode. That's what we need to do, and show some of those cool things.
Oh, I got some Sergeant. Yeah, I got some Sergeant Rock. I got some good stuff. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that for another show. So, what are we doing?
Oh,
Witchblade. Okay, Witchblade.
There's that one. 25th anniversary. Yeah.
Deluxe commemorative edition of the first issue that launched the universe.
Yeah. See, we're hitting a lot of that right now because a lot of those first
25
issues.
Years.
Yeah, dude.
How old am I right now? 25 years. Hey, do you know what fried pie is? The comic when it has the fried pie emblem on it. Do you know anything about that?
No, I'm not sure. What is that?
I've got a couple of comics that have fried pie on it. If anybody knows, I'll look it up, but if anybody knows, throw it at me. Hey, look, a John Tyler Christopher Empire 3. I want to see that.
Let's see. This one. That one?
Yeah, no. It's going to be negative. It's going to be a negative space book. Is that all he does? No, right?
No. He also has a second print cover, a second printing. I'm confused. Okay, 3 of 6, and then it has number 3 of 6, second printing variant.
See,
cover.
One's a 2-pack action figure, and the other one is just a second printing.
Oh, there it is.
See, that's the 2-pack.
Yeah, he's known for doing these kind of like.
I don't really like those covers, man. I really don't. I don't.
Yeah.
But I want to see the other one. The other one he has.
The variant.
Yeah, I want to see that. Wow, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on in this series. This is also the lead up here. I don't know if the Spider-Man. I don't know. I don't know if you're collecting any of this, but they're all coming up to
Ryan Otley.
legacy issue. What is it? What is it? For something? For no 850. That's what they're leading up to.
Wow.
Legacy
850
number
already?
850 already.
800 came out in 2016, right? Or 2017?
It's 18.
When 18, you and I were working together, right?
Yeah. But the thing is that this book comes out twice a month. That's the thing. That's why they go so fast to the numbers now. They got a variant cover.
Mark Bagley.
I don't know. I mean,
It doesn't, right off the bat, it doesn't strike me as something I would pick up. Again, I'm a visual. I pick up the covers.
about Jorge Molina. It's a tie-in with the Empire. You got a run of well, she's holding the hammer, bro. Is she Thor or what's going on here?
That ain't the hammer, though.
It's some kind of her own thing, but
Put the hammer down, girl.
we got I don't know. I don't know. I'm not collecting that. You collecting
Right.
that? You collecting?
No, I'm not collecting that.
Okay. What about we got Iron Man 2020 coming out also? Anything in? Let's see the covers. What is this? Look, 5th color fluorescent ink variant. What the heck is that? It's cover A.
Oh, no, it sounds fancy.
Yeah, okay. You know what? And it probably does no justice looking at it right here. But it looks like Nick Cage as Iron Man.
Yeah, Nick Cage as Iron Man.
In 2020 land. So I don't know. The colors are pretty vibrant. I don't know. I bet you.
I might pick that. I would probably, if I had some extra funds, I might pick that up.
Yeah, it's a issue. The issue 5 of 6. So it's already come down the line, and I don't know.
Let's see that. If you mosey on down, let's check out that Star Wars Darth Vader #3. Pick any cover of that.
The Darth Vader ones. Oh, usually those are pretty wicked. Anything with Darth Vader, I remember seeing this. Yeah, that's the one with it looks like Padme and Darth Vader.
It's not. Doesn't look wicked.
Yeah. When you put the wife on the cover, I guess it's lose its wickedness. Now, what about this one? Very angular, very stiff.
Looks like the actual action figure pose.
This is the one, right?
It looks like he's lifting his pants up.
So none of the
Sorry.
Darth Vaders. None of them. What about Spider Noir? I thought that Spider Noir cover looked.
Spider Noir.
Look at that one, dude.
That's the only word I remember from French class. Noir. Yeah, that's actually more wicked than Darth Vader.
Yeah, you got some. I don't know those Nazis. Yeah, look, Nazis down there, and.
Well, yeah, because he's in a different.
Sorry. It's 1933. They weren't officially, technically 100. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
That one looked pretty cool. I don't know what the second cover looked like.
What's that? Thor #5.
Look at this one.
Wow, now that I'd pick up.
Yeah, that's covered. That's going to be the variant cover. That one looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, that does. I love those big letterings.
Yep. It looks like
old school.
Yeah, it looks like that old school stuff. I like that one a lot. That one's going to be a good one. That's issue #2 of Spider Noir. Noir. You got that Noir. Okay. Then we got Symbiote, Spider-Man, Alien Reality. I don't know.
Greg Land. Let's see Greg Land.
They got Ron Lim also down there too.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that one, dude.
Very
I've been
cool.
seeing this one on the internet. I've seen a lot of that one. He's like
Alien Reality. Reality itself.
I got Hobgoblin in that one there too. And was it Ron Lim had another cover? I don't know. Are
Yeah,
you a
he
fan?
did.
Are you a fan of Ron Lim? Ron Lim
Yeah,
has been doing all kinds of variant covers.
I like that one better than the other cover.
You don't like all that venomized type stuff. Well,
Yeah, it's
this is
just
Symbiote Spider-Man, so it's not
yeah.
Venom. Well, what about this one? Look at that. No,
That's
yes.
cool. No, that's cool, man. I like that. Has that null-looking grin.
Yeah, it seems to be the little thing there. Okay, those were them. Okay, there's a second printing of number
Number
5.
5. I think I've already seen this one. They, no, you could probably find it. I think I've seen it online. I think I've seen it online. You know what? I kind of kicked myself for not picking up.
Thor number 1.
No, no. That on sale Wednesday cover
Of what? Of Thor or who?
of Venom. On sale Wednesday.
I thought
Remember it
you
was a
picked.
purple.
Oh yeah, I thought you
No,
picked.
I didn't pick it up, dude. It was either spend money on that or buy another issue of
Oh,
Venom 20. Was it 25?
25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know it was kind of, but when I read why they did it, then I was like, oh, okay, that's what makes it cool. Then
What?
I got
What?
it.
Well, yeah, I remember, and I don't know. To me, it's going to be one of those issues that eventually are going to creep back into everybody's subconscious because you know what? I bet you a print number is going to come out, and they're going to realize, like, holy crap, there's less printing of that book, and it's the first appearance of. Well, I guess it's the first full appearance of Virus.
Right.
Yeah, in a book. Yeah.
It was Marvel's response to DC putting their books out on Thursday.
Hmm.
That's why they did it.
Okay. So we got one better book than you guys. If you want to call it that. I thought it was an Easter collection, actually.
It had that color, dude, that
Yeah.
pastel.
Now, X Factor, you looking into anything X Factor, or are they still kind of? I
don't
know.
pick up X Factor. I'm not picking up X Men.
I was, yeah.
I'm not.
X-Men,
Maybe I
X-Men
should.
10. They got a
No,
zombie cover.
I want to see the yellow variant, number 1 of X Factor, please, for $300.
Oh,
See,
$199.
$199.
What is this yellow variant that it's
Find
sold
it.
out? It is sold
Look, you
out.
can get it for 20% off.
Yeah, well, it's sold out, bro, on this one. Let's take a look. Let's see if we could find that one.
Yeah. Okay. Just don't open up that other tab.
That's all it is, dude. There it is. The yellow variant.
Oh, come on. Are we being are our eyes being poked? Really? Come on now.
It looks like my car.
It does look like your Scion. It does.
No, Kia, bro.
Oh gosh, they all look the
Dang.
same. Dang.
Kid ratio, why don't you? What was that? There was a book that we were looking at. We didn't have a cover. What the heck was it? Was it? Oh man, was it Symbiote Spider-Man? I think that was it, right? No.
Yeah, we already saw those, Rob.
Yeah, I know, but that was like, oh, Thor. You said that.
There's no cover Thor.
Yeah, but that's what I was going to do. I was going to copy this and do the same thing. Because by now the cover has been released. So let's take a look.
Second printings for Thor.
Yeah, but that's that same website. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I remember seeing this cover, dude. This was supposed to be like some wicked cover, but
I don't trust when you say wicked anymore.
hey, it's him facing like everything like in front of him. There. Come on. Do you know what I mean? It's like all the villains that he's ever faced in Thor's life. Why it's taking this long, I have no idea.
Because of what you got open on that other tab. You shut that other tab down.
Shut the tab, Rob. There it is. We'll just go to Trusty Previews magazine. There it is.
I don't know if I'd buy it.
Yeah, but you know the significance of the book period, right?
Yeah.
Black Winter, okay?
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, Black Winter.
Plenty.
And it is printing to So, what about these X-Men 10? Anything on that?
Clicked it.
We're gonna look
I
at the
mean,
zombie one.
I'm not. Oh man, I have a batch of zombies. I don't know.
You know what? That's hit and miss, dude. Because I've seen some zombie issues that they look kick-ass, but they're not worth like anything. You know what I mean? Some are not really. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to be selling that book for. Like this right here, confrontation cover. I don't know. I'm not.
I don't know. I'm not picking it up.
Yeah. Are
No,
you not picking up that series or Empire? You may be.
I'm not. I mean, I'm not. I'm not. Right now,
just
I'm
waiting.
not.
Okay. Well, that's
Paper cuts.
Paper cuts.
Yeah, paper cuts. Cat Volume 2.
Where's
Well,
that?
I have some paper cuts publications.
Oh,
I don't know what that series is about.
Oh, this is right there. Cat and cat.
That's some wicked stuff, Rob.
Oh, no, yeah,
What is it about? The adventures of Catherine and her cat, Sushi, continuing more comic escapades.
And this is right here the wild card book to pick up. I'm going to show you the wild card book, I think, to pick up. And I know Will's being silly, but it's up here. And it's because I don't even know if it's clickable. Oh, there it is. Kiki's Delivery Service.
And you're being serious.
No, I'm being serious. I love the animation, and this is a hardcover novel of that story. And I think if you like Kiki's Delivery Service, which it's a Studio Ghibli
What's it about?
film, it's about a little girl who's a witch that she's got her cool little kitty friend. And she goes on adventures and stuff. It's like, it's like the way Pee-Pee Longstockings was back in the day, and all those type of things. But she's a young witch, and she's off doing adventures and stuff like that. The animation is real fun, and I don't know, it's really cool animation. If anything, if you love the animation, maybe go out and try to track this down. Kiki's Delivery Service. And she ends up, well, just like what it is, she works in this little shop, and she's delivering things all over wherever it's supposed to be. Because I don't want to make any assumptions if she's in like a European country or whatever, but I just remember watching this with my kids and enjoying it very much.
So she's dropping off like spells and magic herb and stuff like that.
Yeah.
No. Maybe.
There you go. There you go. Volume 1, ready for school. Perfect collection. Bob McMahon. This is the other wild card book to get. It's the school's around the corner. These guys should be wearing masks, but they're not.
They should be wearing masks. You're right.
So
Thank you for your observation.
Yeah, I don't know how this book's gonna fly, but
they're not gonna let it in the building.
Okay. So
what else is down there?
Where?
Down below in their list. Is that it? I mean, I saw other publications out.
Yeah, those are the some.
Those are the
Penguin.
Those never make it to the shelf.
You have to special order these Scholastic books. Well, there you go. If you're into Captain Underpants. There you go. They're already getting their book for Halloween ready. They want to corner the market right there on the shelf. They're letting people know, hey, this is it right here. Get the Halloween book, Captain Underpants style, and see, they got the Archie horror novel. They're all the.
See, I would, the Archie horror stuff is pretty cool. Like the Afterlife Archie.
Mm-hmm. Let's take a look.
Blade Runner. Look at Blade Runner. Blade Runner 2019. Titan Comics.
Let's see.
I do have an issue number 1 and 2 of Blade Runner from 1983.
Oh yeah, look at that, great artwork.
And you're a Blade Runner lover, so
Yeah,
be something you would
2019.
pick up.
So this is kind of close to the the I guess some of the original run and stuff like that. So it's all good.
Cool.
Should be nice. Got a couple of different covers. They always do cool things like that. And then we have Nightmare Before Christmas, Doctor Tomorrow. I don't know. I haven't really picked up a lot of Valiant, but Doctor Tomorrow is. I'll just throw
I'm
that up.
holding on to my Valiant, my older Valiant.
Hmm.
You know, like the from the early 2000s. I'm holding on to it.
I actually
I
have
don't,
some of those and some from the '90s. So there's a couple in there. Um, I'll let you hold on to those too if you want.
thank you, Rob.
There you
Appreciate it.
go. And then, of course, you got all these products that are not clickable and toys and all kinds of stuff that some of our actual companies, the toys, comic book stores actually carry these.
Yeah, the GI Joe Classified Series 6-inch action figures. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, those are gonna be cool. And they got here the Beavis and Butthead reaction figures also. What
They're
else?
making a big resurgence. Those two characters, Beavis
Hmm.
and Butthead.
I think
Uh,
they're what they got another series coming out. I
I
think
heard
it-
they're going to be adults.
right. I guess they're taking a page from Bill and Ted. If they can grow up, I guess we're gonna have them grow up too.
Yeah, are you going to watch Bill and Ted, the new one?
Yeah, I mean, I watched the other two. I don't see why I wouldn't watch it. You never
I
know.
wonder
He might whip out some guns and
if I
yeah.
don't know, man. I saw the trailer and I'm like, I don't know if I can take this serious or not. You know, they're a lot older now. It didn't feel right. It just didn't.
Something's wrong,
The,
Rob. I don't
the
know.
trailer,
Yeah.
but I could be totally wrong
Yeah, they
on
got
it.
them big old buffed up versions of themselves. That looks pretty trip. I don't know. It's gonna be silly. It's gonna be fun.
I'm
I don't
like
know.
worried for Keanu. Like he might actually ruin his career after this movie.
I don't think he's worried, dude. I mean, how did he's already got these other films lined up. Matrix. See, that got put
They're
on
doing the
hold.
Matrix right now.
That got put on. Well, yeah, maybe they're going to start back up with that. And then, of course, we have, what he, that's the thing. He reinvents himself, and then he ends up, come out with something else, and and it's always cool to see him fall back into the to an old film series and then make another one. So that's kind of cool. He established that other John Wick empire, and he was able to you know showcase himself in a different way as well, and I think that's pretty cool too. So many times me and Will, we start talking comics, and then we go through so many different tangents, and we theorize what's happening and what issues you need to go back to and all that kind of stuff. We've been playing a little bit of that. We're not going to get too much into it because I think when those issues come out, we'll kind of explore some of that. But we've been kind of playing around with what's going to happen in the Marvel universe, specifically what Donny Cates has been building up to. Some people think it's been a little bit too long that he's been building up Null is Coming. It's been something that's been almost a year and a half. If you go back into the books, almost 2 years to a year and a half, they've been speculating Null is coming, Null is coming. The pandemic came before Null came, so I don't know. And now after this long delay, we're going to start getting into what all this is, and that's going to be across a couple of books. But first, before we get there, the X-Men have a storyline that's happening, and the Empire storyline of everything that's happening there is happening. So they're going to have a crossover book, a Web of Venom crossover from that series, Empire, into Null. And before that, there will be a Web of Venom Rafe.
Right.
That issue will be coming out too, and that's going to hopefully, I guess, update us or at least introduce us to possibly one of the next villains, or I don't know, maybe a hero, or adventures with Null and whatever's going to happen with this character. Because if you go in the secondary market, we've been tracking some of these books, and he just acquired a prologue that when he gets that, and along with some other books, we'll feature some of that, because that's going to all lead up into what's going to happen with Venom. But those books have been
slowly climbing.
yeah, they've been slowly climbing with the anticipation of the event, and all this really truly is leading to Legacy number 200 of Venom, which is about I think I've said about 9 or 10 comics away, and then we're going to get to Venom 200, which I'm pretty sure they're going to make it a very special event, and they're leading
Don't go
up
crazy.
to. Yeah, everything's
Don't
going
go
to
crazy.
go. How many variants? What, 200 variants?
200 at least. Yeah, you have to match the actual milestone number. 200.
Yeah. We'll have I'm pretty sure you're going to see a McFarlane kind of, they're going to pull a frame from McFarlane somewhere and make it into a vintage
Right.
cover.
Well, our speculation, because this happened between our discussion, and I don't know if you wanna take ownership on this one or not, but it came from what you were talking. It brought about the idea that a lot of artists in the last couple of years have been venomizing different figures, different characters. Like they have the Tigum, they'll venomize whatever character they want. It could be a Cabbage Patch Kid, they'll venomize it, whatever. And what I'm thinking is the maker or one of these, there's going to be a storyline in there, and we're going to just see all these. We're going to see the venomization of new characters, a mashup of characters, kind of like this. This is why I brought Madcap out.
Yep.
We're going to see mashed up characters. That's my theory. If it doesn't happen, oh well, it doesn't happen. But I think that's what might be going on, that these artists have taken and seen what the artists online have been doing, like that they've been creating their own characters venomized, and they're taking note of that, and they're going to start mashing up characters, because we got the maker, and the maker is someone who created the symbiotes, right?
Right.
So I think that's what we're going to see later on down the line. We're going to see old characters mashed with new characters, and possibly venomized and non-venomized. That's what I'm thinking. Does that sound silly?
No, I mean, I think you're talking in regards to what they're going to do for the event and stuff like that. It's all leading up to this. This is what we're basically hinting about. It's Null is coming. He's the guy in the back. It's King in Black. This comes out December 2020. And basically, it's going to be a battle royale, so to speak, with basically everybody in the Marvel universe, or at least in the Avengers / because we're seeing some Avengers, we're seeing some X-Men. It's going to be a who's who. You even got Spider-Man down there, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see, it's anybody who's anybody in the Marvel universe against Null. They're all coming together for the big showdown. And from what they're saying, and they basically gave Donny Cates, free reign to be as brutal and most wicked in this series as possible. So we're probably going to get some crazy things that we've never seen. I know we've seen the zombied versions of these people. Who knows? Like, what we're speculating, we're going to see these mashups of, like, right now we're seeing them all in this form. I wouldn't doubt you see a variant cover with all of them in some kind of weird symbiote. You know what I mean? Outfits basically in the same thing. We're going to see these variations or something, and they're all, going to be taken over by possibly a Null to battle Venom for, supremacy of Earth. I guess that's the whole thing. He's coming to take over. So definitely lots of excitement. There's going to be lots more that we can probably speculate and talk about in that realm. But we're nearing, we've been on for, I think, quite a while.
Yeah. My dinner's cold. It's still there. It's been there for an hour.
Yeah. I have some, I got something coming in as well. But I want to thank you very much for Will. Oh, they're bringing me some enchiladas.
Oh, good. Enchiladas.
Yeah. Enchiladas. Enchiladas. It's Acapulco. They're still open. I'm getting some Acapulco coming in.
Get some salsa on that.
I'm pretty sure. Pretty
Get
sure.
the guacamole.
Guacamole. Yeah, that little globule of bloop,
That little pull-up.
little little plop of guacamole. No, I thank you very much for coming on board. This show it was a slow to get, took a while to get going, but I'm glad we did this, and hopefully it'll be the start of other ones. We'll have just to let everybody know, we'll try to have special guests. We'll coordinate it for certain events and stuff like that are coming up. When it comes to Gunslinger Spawn, maybe we'll talk about Western comics and the love of Westerns, because I'm telling you, I don't know what it is about that particular character. Everybody loves Spawn in Western attire. But there's all kinds of different things happening. Maybe we can do a DC thing or a Batman episode, and we'll try to bring in different guests from time to time. And if not, what we'll do is we'll give you a rundown of our latest finds and what's hot at the comic shops and what's coming up, because every week it changes. If you don't jump on it, you go back. Like for me personally, I wanted to go back and get a Venom 25 second print. The cover is amazing, and there's lots of tidbits on that cover that make it such an iconic cover.
You didn't get a copy?
No, I did, but I wanted to get another cover, because I'm telling you, that wraparound cover on that thing is to die for. It's an amazing cover, to say the least. But I think that cover is going to be one of those kind of things that it sold out all over. You couldn't go back and get another copy. If you didn't get it when it came out and you went back, it was gone. It was gone. It was a must have for sure. Was there anything that you got in the last week or two that was a must have for you, and that you're glad you picked it up at that your comic shop?
Yeah, I got that. Yeah, I got that free comic book day. The X Swords, I think is what it is.
Right. Yeah.
I picked up that one, and I was glad I did. So I got there real early and picked that one up. But I mean, the way I see it, if I don't pick it up then, it wasn't meant to be. I'll pick it up later. I'll find it later. I'll get a trade or I'll buy it, whatever. But I think that 25. I've been ordering. I've been pre-ordering, so I don't worry about it too much.
Yeah, you're covered, and that's what we've told people before. You don't want to miss an issue. Yeah, pre-order. Go to your local comic shop. We've got three or four in town. Hit them up. Get on the list. Subscribe to your favorite titles. You don't want to miss an issue. Let them know that you're looking for variants and stuff like that. Friend them on Instagram and on Facebook, because they will give you heads up. Hey guys, look what's coming up. And then, if they're on top of their game, guess what? They're going to tell you other hot books that you may like or that you might want to jump on as they're coming along. Because what's going to happen, 2 months is going to pass and you're going to go and you're going to find out, oh man, I missed that one. And then the fun starts. But I don't know if you have anything else you don't want to add to that.
No, I'm good, man. I appreciate you letting me be here and talk comics with you. And Toy and Comic Junkie, the group page is open for anyone who wants to join. And we're on Instagram as well. We're also on YouTube, but we don't have nothing there yet. Maybe this show will be there. Maybe I'll grab this show and I'll put it on the YouTube page, link it back to you. But no, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for letting me be here.
No, I'm glad you were joining. Justin, I want to say, hey, what's up? Justin Moreno is a good comic book fan. He also collects the statues and the figures and all that kind of stuff. Justin is a guy that I would love to possibly get on in a future show if he's available. He's a really busy guy, but he knows his comics. He has his go-tos, and he can talk a game when it comes to comics and collecting and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure if he was to show just part of his collection, I think you'd definitely be impressed with what Justin has. He's a really good friend of mine. But until then, I want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight on Ripped Comics podcast. We will have another episode next week. Hopefully there's no storms that get in our way, but definitely we're going to try to make this a weekly occurrence, and we will go around the world of comics, visit our comic shops, and we'll try to bring you the latest news from issue to episode, from episode to episode. For Will Diaz, I want to say thank you again for joining me, and we will see you next time on Written Comics Podcast.